Welcome back to the Stay on Track podcast with Poulsen Oden Law Firm. I'm Danny Poulsen alongside my amazing co-host Carissa Oden. As always, our vision is to help 500 families battling injuries by the year 2028.
Our motto, we help people who are hurt. Our goal is to earn each client's trust by showing up every day. At PO, we say protecting others. And through this podcast, we're sharing knowledge and uplifting our communities.
Today, we have a truly special guest and longtime friend, John Moran, Doctor of Physical Therapy, co-owner and founder of Trinity Physical Therapy and Performance, along with his partner, Chris Piasoon.
Got it? Did I say that right?
Yeah. Gotcha, Chris. John's clinic right here in the greater New Orleans area is known for restoring, optimizing, and maintaining the well-being of every patient who walks through their doors. Trinity is built on faith, teamwork, and a vision to deliver truly personalized care. John's journey from student to innovator alongside a mission-focused team exemplifies what makes Trinity unique in the physical therapy landscape. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Carissa. I'm honored to be here. This is my first podcast and very excited to be a part of this. I'm proud of what you guys have established here at PO. Look forward to working with you guys in many ways. I'm honored to have you all as friends and patients, and I think this is outstanding, and thanks for the invite.
Good. HIPAA.
HIPAA. No, it's totally fine.
No,
cut that out. Edit that out.
John's not just our guest; he's our physical therapist.
Yes.
He is. Now we also have John. Your first podcast. We also have another rookie in the studio with us today.
Yes,
Miss Olivia Liv Burris. Hey, Liv.
Liz, appreciate it.
Liz,
you got
is your microphone on?
Negative.
Liv's a rookie. Her microphone is not on.
Makes this even more fun.
True rookie. I love it.
It's plugged in.
Liv, can you give us so John, welcome to the show. Liv, can you give us a hand clap? Can you give us a cheer?
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Liv,
That was crashing.
That was an accident. Liv, I love you.
I like the drum.
You like
Yeah.
John, welcome to the show. Danuch.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honored to be here.
Great job. You're doing great. This is awesome. We're going to have to fix the cheat sheet. Okay.
Yeah.
So, John, let's start with your background. If you could, tell us a little bit about how you got into physical therapy and the journey that led you to founding Trinity PT.
Yeah, so my first experience with physical therapy came in high school. So at Jesuit High School, to graduate, we have to do 100 service hours. And I was kind of interested in physical therapy, medicine, and I went to Mr. Prados, who was the teacher in charge of the service hours. I said, hey, I'm interested in PT, and I want to do some charity work for these hours, these 100 service hours. And what do you think if I can go to Charity Hospital in New Orleans? And he said, man, that's a great idea. You get to help, some lower income families, and there's some prisoners that go there as patients, and be a great experience for you. You get to kind of knock it out with your volunteer hours, get some experience, and see if you really are passionate about it. So I went to Charity Hospital, outpatient clinic, and loved it. Spent my summer between my junior and senior year over there at Charity Hospital, and it was incredible. I helped so many people, got some good hands-on experience, and just loved every minute of it. I went well beyond my 100 service hours, and came back to Mr. Prados and said, thank you for letting me do this. This is kind of led me in the direction I want to pursue my career in physical therapy. And both my parents are nurses, and they both trained at Charity Hospital. And they said, if you love it here at Charity, this is your calling. Because it can be a difficult environment sometimes. We're on a shoestring budget over there. Some of the patients are difficult cases, and I really just felt a love and a pull to help these patients that were in need. So that was really the initial exposure to physical therapy for me, was Charity Hospital. And those service hours went well beyond 100. I probably did 300 hours. And ironically, I went back to Charity Hospital in PT school to do my clinical work there. And this is before Hurricane Katrina, so the old Charity Hospital, outpatient and neuro. And fast forward, 25 years later, Mr. Prados, the same teacher, was in charge of career day at Jesuit. I don't know if you've ever ran across him recently, but he's ageless. He looks the same as he did in the late 90s, and he invited me to do career day, which I did
Oh, nice.
Jesuit High School.
Oh, I see you, Mr. Prados.
Yeah.
I see how you get that. No, no, Mr. Prados.
Did you not get in?
I didn't get it.
Right?
No, Mr. Prados is. I think he's in charge of like alumni affairs now.
He is.
Yeah. No, he's salt of the earth.
Yeah, he really is. So he played a big role in me finding that path and me making the decision to pursue physical therapy as a career.
Yeah. And Carissa, are you surprised that John went well over his 100 needed hours?
No, I was asking if he got like some kind of an award for that, at school.
Yeah, no. John, overachiever, right?
Overachiever, yes.
Yeah.
Can you share with us, John, the meaning of Trinity and like why, like kind of how that path happened, how you founded the clinic and how you came up with the name?
Yes, yeah. So
I love this story.
So we were on a ski trip out in Park City, Utah, and it was Mardi Gras 2019. And I have a mentor that I hadn't spoken to in about 15 years named Chris Biasi, my current business partner. And I'm at a bus stop at the ski mountain in Park City, and up walks up Chris and his family. And I said, "Chris, is that you?" He said, "Hey, John, what have you been up to?" And so I hadn't seen him in 15 years. And, I was a mentor with him when I was an undergrad at LSU. I worked at a clinic, and Chris was really the reason I went to St. Augustine PT school. I was really impressed with his skill set. And at the time, when I first met Chris, he was a new physical therapist. He was just out of PT school and just impressive, manual therapy skills, personal skills, leadership. I said, okay, that's what led me to St. Augustine. So went to St. Augustine, graduated, and we're on the ski slopes in 2019. I run into Chris. We're on the bus, and he says, I want to open my own clinic. I've been doing home health since Hurricane Katrina. I want to pursue opening my own clinic. And I said, that's always been a dream of mine. I said, although I'm real happy where I'm at, working for Southern Orthopedics, I said, I want to open a clinic too. So we got back to New Orleans after that vacation, started meeting for coffee, and, one thing led to the other, and everything seemed to fall into place. That's why I felt that there was this divine intervention, this pull to go in that direction. Everything from the financing to the business, and it just felt right. And for years, I'd wanted to open a practice. I wanted to open a clinic, but I just would get cold feet, and I felt that was a pullback saying, it's not ready. You're not ready yet. It's not the time. And then when I met Chris and we started sitting down, having coffee and had dinner a few times, said, this is the right person. I wanted to do it with the right physical therapist, to have the right partner to make that dive into business ownership. Although I was very happy at my job that I was at, I just knew it was a direction I wanted to go in eventually. And Chris helped me make that pull in that direction. So in 2020, we opened up Trinity Physical Therapy. And, for weeks we were thinking about, how do we name this clinic? This is before we came up with the name. And at first we were thinking about dynamic names, something catchy, sports, advanced and velocity and all this. And it was like, nothing was really sticking. And we both said, why don't we think about something faith-based? We're both strong Catholics, strong Christians, and we wanted to kind of go in the direction of faith-based because we felt that it was our faith in God that brought us to the point that we were at with this business plan. So then we started thinking about saints, maybe the patron saint of healing and the patron saint of medicine. And then one day we're at CC's Coffee, packed coffee house. You would have thought we won the lottery. We just came up and both of us were like, Trinity. And we jumped up and it just like stuck. That was the name.
Like in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah, right in the coffee shop with Trinity. And it just stuck. And that was, we felt that was the right name for us. And it fit the, divine intervention that was bringing us in the direction of opening a physical therapy practice. And it took us about 6 weeks to come up with this name. It's just, we had the business plan, we had everything ready. And the last thing we needed was the name. And it was so important to us to pick the right name. And it's led us in the right direction ever since then.
No, that I could see why Carissa loves that story, because our collaboration and name of our firm didn't go down the same kind of way. Oh, bless Carissa every day.
I'm listening to John. I'm going, we need a new name.
No, that's awesome. And it seems like you and Chris, it just, y'all's foundation is solid, and being, both faith driven. It's kind of like y'all have trusted, God, and you've been provided everything, and y'all are just flourishing.
Yes. Yeah. I think, our faith has been our number one inspiration to pursue this business, and our family and friends have been the close second and third, having the support of family and friends, them telling us, yeah, take this leap. And and having that faith in God to say this is the right move, and to kind of pursue and grow in our career fields of helping other people. And we have these gifts that we want to share with other people and help them heal, basically. And a funny story, we opened up right in the middle of COVID, and that wasn't in the business plan, so our grand opening was April of 2020. And I have a cousin who's a priest, and he was in town. He was working at Shaw at the time. He's a Salesian priest. And I said, Father Craig, do you mind coming to bless the clinic for us? And this is a time when everybody's still in masks. And, April of 2020, the city's kind of shut down. And he goes, yeah, I'll come bless the clinic. And so he comes in and, does a blessing of the clinic. And, he could tell I was stressed out. I was nervous about opening the business during COVID. And he goes, John, you okay? I said, yeah. I said, I'm nervous. I'm fearful about, this step. We didn't put this into the business plan. Nobody put this into their plan of life. Nobody expected it. And he just kind of gave me a wink, and he says, it's been blessed. You watch what's going to happen, with this sense of confidence. And it was kind of contagious, and all the fear went away at that point. And he was almost like, be careful what you wish for. This is going to really grow, John. You're going to be fine. Just have no fear. And still to this day, when I see Father Craig, I thank him for that, because I think that was that blessing is kind of the kickstart to it's getting over the fear of COVID.
Really the moment.
Goals. Yeah. So that was just an incredible moment. We have a picture at the clinic of that, and it's interesting to see everybody in their masks, and Father Craig in the middle, and looking back, it made us stronger, and I know it made everybody stronger. Everybody here and families, look back at events like that in their life, and you have one choice, get stronger, or or stop, keep moving forward.
Jeez, I want to go a little bit off script here, John, with something you just said about being faith driven. It sounds like during the blessing during COVID, maybe you were lacking a little trust there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe helped my unbelief.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the time when y'all opened, as far as your faith journey goes, it sounds like you were pretty far along on your faith journey, but then I don't want to say it was a setback, but you're lacking some trust, believing what God's path for you was. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Yeah, I was nervous, and, COVID had kind of instilled a lot of fear, and, it's fearful to open a business without anything like that. And when you have a pandemic or anything major negative come in and maybe impact that, you get fearful. And I spent a lot of time in Adoration Chapel and praying and time with family and friends, and it led to us getting a little more creative, and we had to kind of go, our marketing idea of boots on the ground kind of went out because nobody wanted people in their buildings to market and things like that. So we really prayed about what direction do we go in with this. And so word of mouth helped, and we started our clinic with just a handful of patients, and every day it just started to grow a little bit. And we felt that if we provided this strong quality of care, the word was going to spread, and word of mouth marketing was going to help us to slowly grow and get through that moment. And Chris and I would get creative, and we did some home health physical therapy, and actually went and helped patients that were coming out of the hospital after COVID, and they needed help. So that kind of bridged the gap with the finances to help other people that were overcoming difficulties with their recovery from COVID.
Wow.
That's excellent.
I think we merged about half a year before COVID.
June 24th, 2019.
Keeping track of dates.
Down to the day.
Down to the day. And yeah, so that, COVID, I think was a, I think it threw, the whole world was not ready for COVID, right?
Right.
So, for y'all to open right around that time, talk about courage and faith, right?
Especially in a business where you are right next to people, right? Like you are touching them, you're with them. That's, some businesses could be like, well, I don't really have to interact with humans, but that's like the basis of what you do.
Exactly.
So to have to be creative, that I can understand that.
Yeah. Stress. So we're based in a gym, and their gyms were one of those things that you just definitely no-go zones.
Right. They were like shut down. Yeah.
So we overcame that, and Chris has been an outstanding business partner. He's kind of one of those sportsmen, so when stress gets going, he's like, let's go fishing, let's go hunting. I'm like, all right, I'm on. So, good stress relief, and he's just an awesome partner to have. When I'm fearful, he calms me down, and when he's fearful, I calm him down. And so we make a great team with that, and work strong together to help patients, but also help each other get through the tough times of business ownership. And
that's all. No, that's awesome to have like a teammate like that. You know what I mean?
You've got one right here.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'm blessed to have one. I mean, I guess he doesn't feel the same way. This is sad. No.
Well, I'm not trying to make the episode about PO, trying to make it about Trinity.
It's all right. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. All right. No, sorry. Yeah. No, Chris is the best.
No, he's incredible. So you're blessed to have Chris. I was blessed to start with Southern Orthopedics for about 15 years. I mean,
they're great.
Outstanding. They are the best in orthopedics. And if it wasn't for my start with them, I don't think I would be at Trinity today, just building that foundation. And before I left to open Trinity, I went and sat down with all the doctors there and told them my dream, and they all gave me a pat on the back. And to this day, they are a great support system for us.
Yeah, I saw something recently. I saved it to my phone actually on the folks that you worked for, I guess, right? Your employers who supported you on your journey even after you left them as an employee. And I don't think Scott Buller was there, but a shout out to Scott Buller. He's another excellent medical professional, orthopedic surgeon. Just an excellent, faith-driven, family-driven, doctor, patient care first advocate. And I can tell, John, that you and Southern Orthopedic, I mean, that was a match made in heaven. And now, you and Chris are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I know for Southern Orthopedic, that was probably a big hit, but it's so refreshing to hear that they're, supportive and encouraging.
They supported.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Dr. Buller's amazing. That whole team is great. I think, the addition of Dr. Buller and recently Dr. Clark over there, it's been an amazing addition to that team.
Yeah. because
some of the guys I know are maybe looking at retirement soon, but add on these spectacular young orthopedic surgeons coming in to add to Southern Orthopedics is outstanding, and really enjoyed my time there. I was comfortable. They were great to me, and so I still, go back and visit my family over there.
Yeah. Now, you say young, you're using that term a little loosely, John.
Yeah.
Not that
still young.
John, we're not that young anymore, brother.
We are. It's all mindset.
Yeah. John, when did we finish Jesuit?
1999. We had a great 5 years at Jesuit, great friendship. It was a difficult time, 5 years of, grueling schoolwork and academics, but man, the brotherhood that we gained at Jesuit was incredible. We had an incredible class, and, Danny back then was the same way he is today. He's just a genuinely kind, loving man, always a hugger. I love my Danny hugs.
Jesuit and hugging together. Watch out, John. Yeah. We got a reputation.
We had so many great experiences at Jesuit that instilled in us, one, men for others is their motto, and the other one, Latin, AMDG, ad majorem Dei gloriam, and for the greater glory of God. Every day we are doing kind of what God has put us here to do, and we focus on that. We, just like today, we started with a prayer, and I feel like God's put me here with you guys, and He's put me on this earth to really help patients. We learned that at Jesuit, but now we really appreciate it even more after Jesuit. And Thanksgiving coming up, they do the Thanksgiving drive. It's one of my greatest memories over at Jesuit, and they help thousands of families, all within walking distance now of Jesuit. And every homeroom gets a few families. Some of the kids get up in the morning and they shop at Robert's Grocery, which donates a lot of the groceries. And some of the kids stay at school and they pack the boxes. And then you have a group of team students that will deliver the boxes, kind of walk the boxes out to the houses. And that's one of my greatest memories of teamwork and charity and helping other people at Jesuit. And I have an 8th grader there now, and he's getting ready for it. He said, "Dad, which job should I do?" I said, "Wake up early, go to Robert's, and it's fun." And I said, "Your 5 years, just change it every year, pick a different job, and you'll be a part of a different homeroom. So you got different teams to work with." And it's just, a great thing that's been a part of Jesuit for so many years. And it's one of my greatest memories of Jesuit, Thanksgiving drive. And, and Danny being a wrestler, I was a swimmer at Jesuit. I think the sports at Jesuit, in addition to the academics, have really helped shape us into who we are. And they have dynasties. When we were there, wrestling won, I forget how many state championships, and swimming was right there with you guys.
Yeah.
And still just that discipline. I find those two sports, like all sports, but specifically wrestling and swimming, it just instills this discipline that carries over into our work and our life. And, I really feel like swimming helped build me into who I am today also.
Yeah, the discipline, the joke, shout out to Joey Marlborough, right?
Yeah,
Joey's wedding a while ago. Yeah, the joke was the swimmers, they got up at 4 a.m. and the wrestlers didn't eat. So, right? I mean, we kind of, and it's a team sport, but it's an individual sport, right? So, wrestlers had their own weight class. Swimmers, you have your types of races you swim in, whether you're relay or not, whatever. And y'all would get up so early in the morning and hit the pool by 5 o'clock. And in high school, right?
That's like really early.
Right? Right? That's right? I mean, who gets up that early? So for...
You're swimmer too, Chris.
Yeah. Used to be.
Yeah. So the swimmers and the wrestlers kind of, it was an individual sport, but a team sport. So they just we kind of just connected, I guess, in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You probably throw cross country in the mix too. It's another sport. It's a lifestyle. You got to live it every day.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are my greatest memories, and just seeing Danny in the hallways and getting Danny hugs. All of
I think your age is catching up to you, John.
No, there were a handful of students at Jesuit that you think of role models, people older than us, right? Mm-hmm. But there were a handful that were in my class that were role models to me, even though they're the same age, mm-hmm. same year. Danny was one of those guys. Wally Poniff was one of those guys. I know his spirit's still with us, but Wally was a guy, even from 9th, 10th grade, that I looked up to, mm-hmm. Even though the same age. And Danny's another one. He falls into that small circle that, when the going got tough and I needed somebody to talk to or, get through difficult times, Danny was one of those guys. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not really good at responding to nice things that are said to me. So
he's not.
Thank you, John. You're welcome, man. That's my official one. I love you, bro. God, I love you, bro.
I appreciate that.
I love you, man. No, it's true.
Shape on our life.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think, for Chris and I to have, the opportunity to just do this and share with other people that have, similar values, it's truly a blessing for us to have, someone like you, in our lives and to be in your life, right? And this whole experience, this recording, it's bigger than us, right?
Right.
It's serving God, but to do it together and to see you and where you are, and Chris and I joke, the type A personality, mm-hmm. the overachiever, whatever, it's admirable, and there's a mutual respect there, right? I mean, I look at you and think, man, this is a courageous man who went out on his own, who started his own career, the entrepreneurial journey. I mean, we can talk about that a little bit too, but that takes guts, right, partner?
Yes. No, I mean, that, and especially like we talked about a little bit, just at that time, not knowing whether you would be able to have a business, right? Because of the world and how everything was going. That's why I love the story about is it your cousin, Father Craig? Cousin. Yeah. Because I mean, it's like that confidence, like you said, it kind of spilled over and then everything was fine. Like letting go and letting God is so hard.
Yes.
And I think as entrepreneurs too, it's like even harder because it's like, am I doing this right? Am I going in this right direction? So I'd love for you to talk about like how, once you started like building your team, right? And what your team looks like now. And then I know, your mission, right? The restore, optimize, and maintain. Like, love to hear more about that and why that's your mission.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the restore, optimize, maintain, that's kind of what we started with, kind of our motto that we do at Trinity. Our goal was to take every person and treat them as an individual. So during the evaluation process, we want to really get to know our patients. So we focus on that history of the patient, what their goals are, because based on the specific goals, we design a plan of care around that. And the exercises have to be somewhat specific to reach those goals, whether it's coaching baseball or could be something as simple as playing bridge, again, sitting for a while, or playing pro sports, could be swimming, working a full day of work, without pain, things like that. So that is where we find what we need to restore as a physical therapist. And we design the physical therapy program, the exercises, the hands-on care with those goals in mind for each patient. And it's dynamic. Sometimes patients go, I reached that goal. Now I want to work on this goal. So it's always changing. It's evolving. So as patients go through their program, we might have multiple goals for them, and their program is designed based around that. And then the portion of the optimize is we want patients not only to, reach their prior level of function, but we'd love for them to be even better than before. We want them to leave physical therapy kind of reinforced so that they don't get hurt again. So that's where we come in with Optimize. Improve that function, improve their strength, make them more resilient so that they're not going to have another injury, whether it be at work or on the playing field. And then maintain, that's where that patient education comes in. We want to send patients home with a program that they can take home. We have a virtual home exercise program that we tell them, hey, keep this up 2 or 3 days a week, or, go to the gym and, I recommend this personal trainer to work with, somewhere where you can kind of continue where you left off and maintain the gains that you've made so that you continue to do what you love to do and maintain that quality of life. So that's our focus with Restore, Optimize, and Maintain. And we surround ourselves with a great group of people. We have a great team. Chris, we spoke about earlier. We have a great group of technicians that work with us. Bradley, who has been with us for 5 years, he's a PT tech. While he's been with us, he got his bachelor's degree. He got his certified strength and conditioning coach specialty. Really proud of where he's going in the future. And he's looking at maybe going to Houston to help train University of Houston sports over there.
Bradley, we can use you at LSU, bud.
Yes, I know. We need you.
Come on, Brad. Come on, Brad.
We need that strength. Yes.
Love Brad.
He's incredible. Marcia at the front desk. She's incredible.
She's the best. Yes.
Yeah, John. What I think is awesome about your team is they'll keep us honest in a good way, right? I mean,
Yes.
Brad will never hesitate to, Danny, you doing that move right? Right? I think your whole team over there, walking into the environment, the atmosphere, it's super positive and uplifting. And one of the things I really like about your facility is that it's a gym, right? So you have the kind of, the work down rooms where if you need, muscle work or whatever, and you got the bike and everything, but then you have the exercises are being done in the gym, which to me really promotes like just physical fitness, which, as we get older, we need, right? For our mental well-being, being physically fit. So
definitely.
I feel like,
Yeah, and it's such a great, diversity of people, right? Like the times that I've been, and I've never, been to physical therapy until came to you, and it was awesome. But there's, young kids there that you can tell they probably might have hurt themselves playing sports, right? And they're trying to rehab that. And then a whole variety of ages to older, individuals that are, working through things. And I can tell you every time I'm there, I get the heat at the beginning, and there's always somebody sitting in the chair next to me, and they always have great things to say. I mean, they sit there and brag about you and Chris and just how much they love coming and how much it's helped them get better. I mean, the lady, the last time I was there, was sitting next to me, had a knee replacement. She had another surgery. And the thing she said she looked forward to is coming to make sure that she could move again, because before she had such a hard time. So anyway, I can't say enough good things in my time being there with you guys, and everyone that's there, talks so highly of the care. So
yeah, thank you. And we love that variety of care. It makes everything fun. We have pediatrics. We treat the older population. We treat the professional athletes, orthopedics, neurology, work comp, legal. So we try to, take care of
everybody.
It is a great mix.
John, one of the things just wanted you to touch on when you talk about maintaining, y'all actually have an app that your patients can use that actually have the exercise and sort of like a regimen or a plan for them to follow after they're done seeing you.
That's correct.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's an app that you can download on your phone, and Chris and myself will populate your app specific with the exercises that we prescribe that we think will be best suited for you to help you reach your goals. So as your program builds, we add exercises to the app. So you can hit the app wherever you're at, in the office, at home, at the gym, and it'll pull up a list of all the exercises that we've recommended with some comments and tips. And actually has a video of the exercise. So you can hit the play button and it'll show someone performing the actual exercise. So there's no question about form of the technique of the exercise.
So helpful.
It's really helpful. There's no excuses to not do the home exercises because it's on your phone.
And he's so nice when he says it, right? He's like, you can do this, right? Like,
right.
Dude, I go, like, did you do what you're supposed to do at home? And they're like, you don't want to lie, right? I want to lie. And then I'm like, kind of.
Yeah.
You could do it, right? Like, there's like no judgment, which is great, because I think sometimes we're like, oh God, I didn't go, right? And I don't know if I should go back. But then, it's like, you're so nice about it, John.
Yeah, that's part of the app too, where I can monitor patients if they're doing or not. I don't do that. I just feel it's encroaching on, your privacy. I still don't have time to monitor all my patients.
Well, right, that'd be a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll give you a gold star. I trust that you're doing them at least twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And the cool thing about the app too is you can communicate to me. So if you're at the gym and you've got a question about that exercise, you can shoot me or Chris a message and say, hey, is this the right technique? Or this is getting kind of easy. Do you have something else different? And that message will go directly to us and we can respond on the app as well.
It'd be cool about the app if you had like maybe you or Chris or Brad jump in and kind of hoot and holler. You doing that right? Yeah. I'm watching you. Yeah.
That would be incredible. Yeah, a little motivation, right? Like keep going.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah. It seems like you and Chris's personality, y'all wouldn't be the best suited for that. Brad, I feel like would fit in really
perfect,
right?
Yeah, especially a little video of him jumping in there,
yeah,
flexing, talking a little trash, during your exercises. Yeah, it's been a great piece of technology. And that's something that we really stress at Trinity is technology. I feel that it's something that maybe separates us a little bit from other PT clinics. The app and some of the tools that we use to measure patients. It goes beyond just the old school way of testing and measuring patients. We have devices where we can measure strength down to the 10th of a pound. We can measure weight bearing down to right versus left leg. We have a device called the shoulder pacemaker for people that have shoulder issues. A lot of shoulder issues come from the muscles around the shoulder blade. So we have this thing called a shoulder pacemaker. I kind of scare patients when I say, hey, we're going to put a pacemaker on your shoulder, I say, what? And so it uses electricity to kind of re-educate the 17 muscles that are around the shoulder blade. You got 17 attachments to each shoulder blade. And if they get off rhythm, then that can cause some shoulder pain. So the pacemaker has been a great device. So we are, junkies for all the newest technology out there. And that's one of the great things about being on our own is that we don't have to ask anybody. If we want it, and it's in budget, we're going to buy it. If it's going to help our patients, there's no red tape. We're like, let's go ahead and order this. Let's try it out. So I feel like we're kind of on the cutting edge with technology and we're always trying to find new gadgets to help patients. And
they let you take them home too. Sometimes. So let me take the traction machine home, which I did. If I could find 20 minutes where the kids weren't like, Mom, what are you doing then about me? But that was great. And then you also are certified with the needling too, right? Yeah.
And that kind of goes into, sometimes patients are fearful and anxious about treatment, and needling is one of them. Chris is a good example.
Yes.
It took me about 5 visits to persuade Chris to try the needling. And I said, really think about it, research it. I never push a patient into it. I said, this is, I educate the patient. This is the benefits. These are the risks. I honestly say this is what you might feel when you get needled. And it's using acupuncture needles to help increase blood flow to an area to kind of get rid of trigger points and sore areas, kind of stubborn areas that don't go away. And it's really good for that. But my goal is to educate the patient, to comfort them before we try any type of treatment, whether it be exercise or needling. And Carissa tried, and I think we got a pretty good response.
No, it worked amazing. After I finally was like, it's fine, I'll do it. And the first one was, what do you call it? It's like a bullseye. Yeah.
I nicknamed it the bullseye, but you get a twitch response. So you stick a needle in the right spot, the trigger point, it starts to like flutter, it twitches, and that's really a good response. So that's what we go for. And if we don't get the twitch, that's when we add the electricity to the needles to create a false twitch or pseudo twitch, which makes the muscle do that for us.
Yeah, he did that the first time. He's like, is that supposed to be happening? He's like, that's fine.
Yeah, and the good thing is there's always alternatives to the needling. We can do cupping. We use our hands, myofascial release. So there's a lot of options outside the needling too. But there are some patients that are fearful of therapy, and there's patients that are fearful to get back to what they love to do. We call it kinesiophobia, and it's a true phenomenon. And some patients don't realize they have kinesiophobia until they get out there and try that sport or get back on the railroad tracks again, and work on a train. And sometimes mentally they might think, oh, I'm ready. I've got my motion back. I've got my strength back. But not until they get into that true element of work or sport. Sometimes kinesiophobia hits them and it's almost like they freeze up. They change the way they move, which can be more dangerous because if you change your movement patterns, you're going to compensate. You stress other areas of the body. So if we ever see kinesiophobia, usually I'll try to refer out to a sports psychiatrist or a social worker. It's kind of beyond our scope. So we like to recruit help in those moments where people are fearful to get back to what we're trying to achieve with physical therapy.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think of someone like Derrick Rose when he came back from his gnarly leg injury, right? And he's a professional athlete, but if I'm hearing you correctly, it applies to all of us.
It does.
Right? Whatever our daily living activities do, it may just be a hesitation to go do those daily living activities because we're fearful of that next onset of pain.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a form of anxiety. It's almost like, PTSD, like a stress disorder. And sometimes you don't know you have it till you have it.
Yeah.
I've had high school soccer players, mentally like, I'm ready to go back, John. Let me get back out there. And they get back out there, like, John, I couldn't move. I got to the soccer field and I froze up, even for practice. So we address that. I have a good friend, Janelle Khalifi, who's a licensed social worker, sports psychologist specialist, and she's been great to help with that. But the sooner you can address it, the better. So if we see a patient that has that early on, we try to get some help.
Yes.
Mental health and physical therapy go hand in hand. And, when somebody has an injury and they can't do what, the reason they wake up in the morning, their purpose, their why, if they can't do that, it's depression can set in. And, chronic pain can prevent you from doing what you love. And if you can't do what you love, you got to be real careful and not get kind of in that rut where you get depressed and, kind of have that pity that prevents you from, progressing.
Yeah. And then it's a negative cycle.
It is.
Right. It starts to compound on itself.
Definitely.
And it's just kind of, you go down these dark holes and then you're not doing the things you love, your why, like you say, and then you're more isolated.
Right.
And then it just gets darker and more isolated. And so, like your philosophy, I guess, when you've touched on it a little bit, will you recognize that in patients and then work and modify, your regimen for that patient to help them kind of get out of that, kind of that psychological battle that you talked about?
Definitely. Yeah. We try to recognize it as soon as we can. Usually you can see it on facial expressions. It's just there, their body posturing. And, that's why we try to keep a real upbeat clinic at Trinity. Get some good music flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley's a DJ. We try to have fun and it's interactive and, you talk to the patients, help and, we try to uplift them. But if we see where it's a position where like we do is not helping, that's when we tend to refer out. But most of the time we can, talk to the patient and say, hey, you're reaching these goals. You're making progress. We can show them the numbers from those tools that we have and say, hey, you gained 20% strength. You're on your way to getting back to doing what you want to do. So that's kind of how we do it. We kind of show them the numbers, and also just keep that real high energy atmosphere and keep it fun, set short-term obtainable goals and set some really long-term goals for patients, that are going to be more difficult, but keep them working towards that.
Another thing I think that's really cool that I think Chris and I see running a practice is that you kind of think, oh, I want to go with a bigger group or a larger group, right, for who's going to give me my medical treatment. But then you talk about kind of the red tape and the bureaucracy, whereas when you have a smaller group, you actually can lean into innovation and technology quicker. You can make, because you don't have to kind of turn that Titanic, right? Like, we need the 9 board members to come in and we need the supervisors to come in to make a decision. Like you and Chris can quickly make an adjustment and say, look, we're going to add Bradley to the app to go, right? We're going to add this piece of equipment, which, which is pretty cool because, a small business, but the reality is like you and Chris, y'all are boots on the ground, looking exactly at what your patients, need, identifying it, and then making decisions quicker to ultimately benefit your patients.
No, it's true. And I think a big thing about the smaller size clinic is that you get continuity of care. You're going to see me every time you walk through the door. You're going to see Chris. You're going to see our techs and Marcia. And collectively, our team can pick up on things like that. So, if Danny walks through the door, it's not uncommon that, Marcia might come up and say, hey, he's not himself today, check on him. And, so that continuity of care is really important. They've actually done research on, seeing the same therapist or seeing the same PTA each time can help improve progress. Whereas some of these, we call them bigger box practices, big clinics, you may not get that. You may not see the same PT until every 6th visit, if you see them again. And they may not be able to pick up on those things. And, it's hard to measure progress when you're seeing a different practitioner each time you go to the clinic. So it's just different business models. And we like to consider our clinic at Trinity more like at the boutique PT clinic, so you're going to see us each and every time. Our goal is to, make adjustments to your program each visit to try to step it up a little bit so you keep seeing progress, not hit plateaus. That is a big part of it, is just the quality of care and that continuity of care.
That's awesome. And John, if you talk to us a little bit about, I know you're affiliated with LSU,
yes.
right? And so talk about how you're involved in education and how that influences you in the clinic.
So we've been honored to be a part of LSU. We get LSU students in probably once or twice a year. Been doing that for about 3 years. And these students are either first, second, or third year students at LSU, and they're physical therapy students on their way to reaching their goal to graduate as a DPT. And they come in, they spend 10 weeks with us, and Chris and myself are clinical instructors. So we'll kind of take them under our wing and show them what we do. And after the first 2 weeks of training, we start to give them their own patients, their own caseload. Our goal is to build them up to, full physical therapy caseload by the time they finish their 10 weeks with us. And it's an outstanding program. The good thing is they come in, they teach Chris and I a lot of things, because there's a lot of new things that they're learning in the PT setting in physical therapy, and they teach us different techniques. And so it's a win-win. We learn from all these students coming in, and we're proud of them when they graduate. And they keep in touch with us too. So they stop in, and, hopefully as we grow, we'll be able to handpick some of these students to be our future physical therapists at Trinity.
Yeah, and kind of like what they're learning, your tentacles and your influence and your mission is like going out into the world,
yes,
like through them, right? Which is awesome. Hey, Danny, I love that he always says when we have teammates here, we want you to be better after you leave us, right? And it's like you have that same kind of mentality, like you're here to, do a certain amount of time, but then you're out into the world. And I think that's awesome, because then it's like you're kind of expanding Trinity's mission and the faith that you bring to the clinic to others through these students. And
yeah, definitely. It goes beyond, just treating the patient.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to teach these students that, I get it, encompass the whole patient, holistic approach. And the students love it. They get to rate us also. And they tell us, hey, we love Trinity. We learned a lot. And, beyond just the treatment parameters of taking care of patients.
Man, no, that's awesome. I think, John, as we've both been on our journey, from Jesuit 1,000 years ago, right? I think it's weird. I don't know if it's weird. It's eerie, really cool to see kind of the synergy between like you and Chris and, and Carissa and me. And it's, it's humbling, overwhelming, and it's really cool, man. It definitely hits me in the heart to, see you, impacting others, right? Because again, as we get older, we got Liv in here who's going on 22, right? 22 years young, right, Liv? Yeah. Liv, tell everybody hi.
hi.
Got our microphone working. I think, again, I can't tell you as a brother, I really do appreciate and respect what you're doing, the way you and Chris are doing it. And it's encouraging and, it's motivating, right?
Yes.
Right. Don't you feel that, partner?
Yeah.
Like it's like we've got other people out there, humans helping humans.
Yes.
Right. John and Chris, they're two of the good guys. And it's like we you inspire us to do better.
Yes.
Thank you.
Seriously.
No,
right?
definitely. And the way that you interact with your team, when I was there, one of the days, I think there was a newer member of your team there, but just how patient you are. And I mean, all of them say that John's very patient and just, helping them, right? I mean, it's very inspiring, because there's hard days, right? Like, I think, I guess if you don't mind, talk just a little bit about like business owner versus employee, like how has that changed your life doing, because you probably wear a bunch of different hats other than just being therapist, right? I mean,
yeah, that's the tough part. When I was at Selma Orthopedics, we had a whole army of staff that did the work for us when it comes to insurance authorizations and, getting paid, HR.
just important.
Right? Yeah, very important. So, the biggest part of business ownership has been the different hats we wear. So I've, my passion is helping patients. I love the business part of it, but it's not particularly my passion, but the HR, helping our employees grow, offering them opportunities to expand their horizons as employees has been important to us. Most difficult side is insurances, calling on insurances, making sure patients have enough physical therapy they need to get better. And that's difficult some days, particularly with some insurances. They don't want to provide enough physical therapy sometimes. And sometimes Chris and I will make the hard decision to say, you know what, we're going to offer 4 visits on the house on this patient because they need 4 more visits. They might have met their quota of 20 visits for the year, but we know 4 to 6 visits might help this patient. So we'll either do something pro bono to help these patients or really give them a greatly reduced cash pay rate to help them. So that's probably the most difficult side of it. And, there's good days and bad days with the insurance companies out there. And then also just making sure, checking remittances and making sure insurance is doing their job of reimbursing us for our work. So we have a lot of hats, and we have worked closely with a group called Prime Business Solutions. Natalie Bronco is over there, and they help us a lot. So that's one of my biggest fears of opening a company was the business side of it. And Prime Business Solutions is kind of like our CFO. They help with our payroll, they help with our accounting. I can always call Natalie and say, hey, we're thinking about maybe a second location. Can you help us do a demographics review and things like that? Is this the best decision for us? They can help us on all odds and ends of the business world, which is great to have somebody else to go off of and, call at any moment we have an HR question or, just to make sure that we're doing the right things for our employees and in our company to grow, legally and also, efficiently.
Do you get that kind of training in physical therapy school?
That's a great question. Yes.
Great question.
Really,
we share a brain.
No, we don't get it in PT school. I'm not sure why. I think because insurance is always evolving. I find like every year they change it up a little bit. So to teach it in PT school would be really difficult to master the insurance world. But there's not much, with regards to business education, things like that. You're going to have to do that on your own. I did a few business courses. I thought about looking at an MBA, and when I paid off my student loans, I was like, the last thing I want to do is get more student loans. That Tulane Freeman School of Business looked really good. I got a kid's tuition to pay for to college. So I get some little certifications here and there that are affordable. And a lot of it's just learning and making some mistakes and learning from mistakes and, growing based on some failures. You're going to make failures in life and you got to move past those and learn from them. And we've made some mistakes. And I feel like we've come out stronger as a result of that. As long as you don't repeat the mistakes, we're going to be good.
Yeah, we do talk about that from a abundance mentality, entrepreneurial side. It's one of those things where success is not the absence of failure. Failure is a necessary ingredient to have success.
Definitely.
Right? And I feel like our young children, I think the way we kind of were brought up is that, failure was the enemy or failure was negative. And obviously you don't want to fail, but you learn so much more from your failures than you do from your successes.
Definitely.
Right? I mean, when we talk about the synergy, like the frustrations with insurance, right? I mean, we live in that world to an extent with some of our clients where it's just the insurance company. Are you putting the human first?
Right.
Right? Are you putting your line item first?
Correct.
Right? Are you taking care of the patient, or are you doing the bureaucratic steps to avoid payment? Like you need an MRI. Okay, I'm the insurance company. I'm gonna hold off on approving the MRI.
Right.
You need physical therapy. John and Chris know what they're doing. You need physical therapy. I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna delay treatment. I mean, I think when we talk about the synergy here with y'all, John, I don't want to say it's refreshing, but it's certainly interesting that some of your struggles in your practice and the majority of our practice deals with just companies doing the right thing for the humans. And I think if you lead with the human's need first, it kind of solves for itself a little bit. So
yeah, I would think you'll probably deal with similar obstacles, that we see every day in the clinic.
Big companies not doing the right thing is the whole reason we have jobs.
Yes.
I mean,
I think part of it.
Yep.
Is that a fair statement, partner?
It's very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we shouldn't, if we're talking real talk, our 3 viewers, right? Real talk, we shouldn't have jobs, right? Because if a company took care of its employee, if the insurance company took care of its policy holder, Chris and I wouldn't have jobs.
Right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, that.
Yeah, it's a constant fight for that human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be big advocates and, be on their team and, help them get what they deserve from a, physical therapy treatment standpoint, and from you guys, the care for injured clients.
Yeah, because I know I've seen your mission statement. You have
right,
and I know that as you're a person who's driven to help people, you now have an obstacle that seems, as we get older, almost unnecessary that divides you and your gifts to your patient.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, your mission statement. I don't.
Yeah, I actually
spot
typed it up here.
Thank you for that.
Pardon me, I don't have it memorized, so it's a little long. And I love to thank Kristen Merrifield. She's our marketer, and she developed this mission statement for us, and she had it framed for us. And now we have business cards up at the front that have the mission statement. We had so many patients ask for it.
Oh yeah, it's great. In the back room,
the back room is there. Yeah, so up in the front, I have a little card. We're trying to get magnets made, so you can just see it every day, and basically says, "Let me dedicate my life today to the care of those who come my way. Let me touch each one with gentle hands and the healing art for which I stand. Let the divine force flow from me to you. Let our energy and spirit renew. And then tonight, when the day is done, let me rest in peace if I helped just one. And that's our goal. I'm hopeful that we help more than one every day, but if I help just one, then it's a success. And every day we try to help one more patient. And like you said, that trickle effect into kind of spreading out in the community. And we try to do a lot of community service in addition to our treatment care. So this mission goes beyond just the clinic. We love to get out in our area and just help charities and things like that as well.
And I love how it's got I put a little Seuss flow on the end. It's got a little done in one at the end. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Kristen did a great job with that. And,
Yeah.
She's been a part of my life for a while. I coached her son when he was about 4 or 5 years old in soccer. And, fast forward, she becomes our marketer and does a great job with us.
That's awesome.
The connection of people. Huh?
Yes, definitely. I want to touch on, too, that philosophy, talking about taking care of more than just the patient is, just some stories, a quick story we had. There's so many. I was thinking about something I could share with you guys of an example of how we go above and beyond just treating the muscles and the joints. We have a patient who her son was a Navy SEAL, and he was part of Operation Red Wings, which they did a movie about. It was Lone Survivor is the name of the movie, Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yeah.
And her son went to Brother Martin, became a Navy SEAL. He's actually was best friends with Kelly Gibson, a former New Orleans PGA golfer. And the plan was for Jacques to become his caddy one day when he finished the Navy SEALs. Unfortunately, he was part of that mission. He was going in to rescue some of the Navy SEALs and was killed in action. But we knew his mom was coming in as a patient, and it was Veterans Day. And ironically, his birthday is on Veterans Day, which just passed. So we did an angel birthday workout in memory of him. Yeah. And his mom was in there and smiling ear to ear. And she was so thankful that we remembered her son. We had a cake made, said, "Happy birthday, Jacques," on there. And Bradley designed this hero workout. Almost impossible to finish.
Yeah, he did.
To do the workout to kind of honor Jacques' sacrifice that he made for, us and in our country. And just to see the smile on the mom's face, and she thanked us. She said, "Thank you for remembering my son." And, it just went above and beyond just taking care of her as a patient. And at the time, she was a patient, and, we've kept in touch with the family. And, I still honor Jacques every Veterans Day, which just passed recently. And Brother Martin does a mass for him every Veterans Day. So that was just one example of trying to go above and beyond to really just help our patients beyond their injury. And we've got many other examples of that. Another one is Tajay Spears. He's a great friend, and he had a lot of injuries leading up to his professional football career. And we worked with him leading up to the draft, and the Tennessee Titans said, "We're going to take a leap of faith on this guy." They knew he didn't have an ACL, and that's public knowledge. But an ACL is a very important ligament for the knee to keep the knee stable. And they said, "We're going to hire this guy anyway, let him play." This guy's strong. He did great with Tulane. Outstanding player, outstanding person. He would come into the clinic. You could have 50 people in the clinic, and before he would start his workout, he would fist bump every person in the clinic.
Nice.
And I would have a dad next to me who goes, "Is that Tajay Spears?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's awesome." But he made a point to say hi to everybody, no matter who you were in the clinic, and come in and work out. Just one of these guys you want to see succeed. And he's in his third year now in the NFL, and you're hoping to get that next big contract out there with the Titans. And we worked
Tremendous.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
He was a great, person to work with, and see him succeed and make those touchdowns, and work closely with his agent here in New Orleans, Martin Fishman, and just a great success story. And I'm just super proud of him.
That's awesome.
And we try to get out there, a lot of community service too. We've done Phil Fest, which is Phil DeGry battled a really bad cancer. He used to have Phil's Grills, the hamburger place where you design your own burgers, and unfortunately he had a bad cancer and had to get rid of the restaurants, but he started to do Ironmans and ultra marathons. And so with Phil, he does a race every year to raise money for kids that lose a parent to cancer. And so he supports these kids, whatever their goal might be. So if it's stay in school, as a Jesuit student, that he covers their tuition, cheerleading camp, whatever it might be, Phil uses the money from Phil Fest, which is a 5K run and a festival to support Running for Dreams is the foundation that he started. So Running for Dreams supports these young children that are going through difficult times. So we love to help these people. We love to help, get out in the community. We're going to be at Second Harvest in a couple of weeks also, and packing some boxes, close to Thanksgiving. So, and those are some team building things that we do that we find help carry back into the clinic and, support our patients.
It's awesome.
So kind of stress,
It is. It's bigger. It's bigger than the 9 to 5 with your team, right?
It is. Yeah. It's a family. We're always looking for ways to get out there and help other people, but also have fun at the same time.
Yeah.
So, John, could you want to definitely have the listeners know where you're located and how they get to you? We know that, New Orleans, they don't have, it's not a shortage of PT clinics. So talk to us about what sets you apart and then where people find you.
Yes. Yeah. So I think what sets us apart is, the focus on specificity of care and the technology that we provide our patients. So we see each and every patient every time they come in. You get that continuity of care that we talked about, and you also get that real specific care for your goals that you want to focus on. And we communicate every visit to focus on your goals, design the program, change the program, make modifications as needed as well. We spend a lot of time with our patients, whatever the time takes. We're not on a time limit. There's some clinics out there, and I have a lot of respect for all the clinics in the area, and they run on different models. But at our clinic, if it takes 2 hours a visit, that's what it takes. Even though insurance might be, top out at an hour reimbursement, we're going to get the patient better. So if they're coming in for multiple injuries or complex injuries, we'll take 2 hours with that patient each time they come in. And I think, focusing on the patient and not their insurance. And a lot of clinics are starting, unfortunately, to carve out insurances that don't reimburse enough. And, I know they have to function under a budget, but I don't want to penalize a patient because of their insurance. And there's some out there that are dropping insurances, and I'm never going to drop a patient or drop an insurance for that reason. I want to care for the patient. That our philosophy too is that, if we provide quality of care, everything else is going to fall into place with the patient. We're going to be able to pay the bills and do the payroll, but our goal is quality of care. A lot of times I don't even look at that. It doesn't matter to me whether they have the Blue Cross or the UHC or work comp, whatever it might be. So we really put the patient first every day, every visit. We are located in the Elmwood area, 206 Edwards Avenue, right off of Jefferson Highway. It's close to Huey P. Long. It's a pretty central location, easy to access from the West Bank, Uptown, River Ridge, Harahan, Kenner, Metairie. So we picked that location for a couple reasons. One, central location. Many places can reach us. It's a great facility. It's 5,000 square feet, as you guys said, GM facility. You can spread out. We can really expand the care. And also, it's an industrial area. So Chris specializes in FCEs. He's a functional capacity evaluation expert, work comp. So, we treat firefighters in the areas. We treat the shipping industry. We get a lot of Coca-Cola employees. We get a lot of Amazon employees. So we have a lot of these major factories that are in that area, and that area continues to really grow with big factories coming in to town. So it's great to help all those work comp cases that need to get back on the job as well. So that's kind of the design for why we chose that spot over on Edwards Avenue off of Jefferson Highway. And it's kind of close to where I grew up, which helps too. Just, a lot of old neighbors come in and street, we treat a lot of multi-generation. We've had times where we have the grandfather and the parent and the grandson all in at the same time, 3 generations. Whenever that happens, we get a picture in front of Trinity, 3 generations in here at the same time. So that's a lot of fun too. So, and we try to make it fun. We try to make it enjoyable. We know patients sometimes are in pain, and if we can make it pleasurable and enjoyable and fun, sometimes it takes away from the pain and distracts them and helps them make more progress.
Yeah, you also approach the holistic approach with mental health, and it's not just about the muscles, it's the whole human, and a lot happens too. We talked about it between the ears. It is Chris and I as patients, HIPAA, right? Mm-hmm. But as patients of yours, it's been an absolute honor to call you our physical therapist, and I know for our guys and gals that work, heavy duty labor jobs, if they're banged up and they're local, you and Chris, y'all are the guys that we're recommending, for them. And as far as anyone that we know, family members or whatever, y'all's approach makes total sense to us, seeing both what we do professionally and then as our bodies wear down a little bit. Because we work probably a little more than most, and so ergonomics, standing, sitting, that type of stuff. But no, I guess what we have here that I definitely want to ask correctly. So I'm going to my notes. Before that though, just thank you for sharing your story and the history of Trinity and what y'all are doing. But for anyone thinking about PT or facing an obstacle in their health journey, what's your one big piece of advice?
Yeah, so it's a great question. It's a tough question because there's so many great words of advice, and I think to keep it simple and valuable, I think consistency is key. I think just be consistent. You're going to go through some peaks and valleys, whether you're recovering from an injury or a surgery, and as long as you're consistent in trying to make small improvements on a daily basis, you're going to reach your end goals. There may be days where you feel like you're not and you get discouraged, but I think as long as you keep pushing forward and stay consistent, trying to make those improvements, you're going to see the results. And that's, I think, with anything in life. If you want to tackle a marathon, or you want to, set a physical goal or mental goal, as long as you stay consistent with that, you're going to get through it. You're going to have some failures that we talked about and some setbacks, but you pivot and you modify things and you stay consistent. And Danny and I had a great friendship with our friend Ben Blanchard, and Ben's motto was never retreat, never surrender, NRNS. And I know his spirit's with us, and I got to really care for Ben during his last year of life, and he was a guy that would show up consistently no matter what. And I could tell he wasn't feeling good. I remember I'd put the pulse oximeter on his finger, and I said, Ben, you shouldn't be feeling good. You shouldn't, you really want to work out today? I got to work out. I got to make another LSU season. I got to, he knew his cancer was terminal, and he wanted to make another LSU season, and he wanted to make another Christmas with his family. And, he was just, the guy lived life to the fullest. And he would come in 4 or 5 days a week and train and work out, and we push him. We did some boxing and some deadlifts and things like that. And his motto was never retreat, never surrender. And I still think about Ben on a daily basis, and think about every Mardi Gras was his favorite holiday, and he would hit the dance floor at weddings and show us some really cool dance moves. And
really cool.
We learned so many good dance moves from Ben.
John.
Yeah. But he was just a gift in our life, and a pleasure to work with. And there's these yellow bracelets that you might see around town. I think Danny's got one on today. Mine unfortunately broke because I would take it on and off so much that I lost it, but I still have it at my house. It's on my dresser, and I see it.
Nice.
I still have a gift that he gave me before he passed. And, working with him was great. And I think about Ben often when I'm with patients. Sometimes I share his story. I said, listen, you got to be consistent, and you just never retreat, never surrender. You gotta push through these hard moments, these difficult moments. You're not going to always feel good, but just be consistent. Just show up and come into physical therapy and train. Be here for your goals. And so that's my biggest advice: is consistent, but never retreat and never surrender. Thanks to Ben's influence.
Yeah, thanks, John. The Jenkins. Yeah, thanks for. Yeah. So in my office, I have those beads that girls will make for bracelets or whatever. In my office, I have NRNS sitting, and then so look, I've got a few of these. The Jenkins, yours broke. I want to give you my never retreat, never surrender bracelet, bro. No,
thank you so much,
John. I love you, dude.
Honor, love you, man. I really appreciate that.
I love you, man.
Definitely wear this.
Yeah, Jesuit dudes loving each other. No surprise.
The Jesuit love right here. Yes,
I love you, bro. Love the lad.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is going to be an honor to be on here with you guys. I really have enjoyed every minute of this. I hope some great value to words of wisdom that I get to share with everybody. And I'm proud of you guys. I love what you guys have here. I got the tour of the office today. Very professional law firm and great staff, great team. It's just really, really impressed and proud of you guys. thank y'all. If we start a podcast at Trinity, I'm going to have y'all on.
Love
Yeah,
that.
I love
I'm motivated now. I got a room the perfect size.
Yeah. No, you don't need a lot of space.
No.
That's great. Yeah.
No, you don't need it. You don't need a lot of space. I think, I think you exemplify a lot of things that that we want to be here. I mean, I think you and Chris do that, and it's not lost on us, your journey. We see you, we appreciate you, and we want to level up. You inspire us to level up and do better, John. And I think, for what it's worth, you're doing great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're doing great. And knowing Corey, shout out to Corey and the two boys, right? Like, I mean, knowing your family and and how blessed you've been with your family and the kind of husband and dad you are. It's it's something that it's a lot. Like it's extremely admirable, and it's
inspiring.
It is.
Yeah, just your the running goal that you had, right? Like every time I come in, John would talk about, we talk about the running, and I mean, I think that's, if you don't mind sharing that, I mean, that was like, it's huge, right? I mean, that's inspiring. I think when people, you see someone else in your life, it's like they're working towards these goals, personal and professional.
Yeah.
They're like meeting them.
Yeah, I'd love to share that. A couple years ago, I really cut alcohol out of my life. I wasn't a heavy drinker. I just wanted to be better, and I started to get more into fitness. And I got around the right group of people that were into running, and I had been a runner in the past, but kind of fell off the tracks a little bit with that. And so I got back into running with this group, and I did a half marathon in Baton Rouge, and then that led into a 50K in New Orleans, which is like the shortest ultra you can do. It's right over marathon distance. And,
Look at Liv space.
and that was a great race. And then a friend of mine, Stacy Laborde, he's a pharmacist, La Pharmacy. He's got a great pharmacy out there, and he is an ultra runner. And then he said, John, let's try some trail running. So we go over to Bogachita on the North Shore, and he goes, how about we do a big one? I said, what do you mean a big one? He goes, let's try 100K to start. So it's a 62-mile race. Mm-hmm. And so we found one that worked called the Grindstone, and it's definitely named for what it was. The trail was a grindstone, a lot of jagged rocks. And it was out in Virginia, and it was an incredible race. We started last March to train for it. A lot of our runs out here on the lakefront, a lot in Bogachita and out in City Park, and we built up our endurance. And the journey to get to that finish line, I felt really changed who I am. It made me a stronger person. And I didn't do it for me, and I didn't do it for the medal at the finish line. I did it for my family, to show my kids, hey, you can do hard things even when we're old. We could keep pushing the limits, and it kind of carried over into my work life as well. And I wanted to be an inspiration to my family, my boys, who I'm very proud of. Harrison's a runner. Hayes is an athlete. I like to walk a lot with my wife, Corey, and walking definitely helped too, because we did do some walking. Don't get me wrong. It was not jogging the whole time. Speed hiking, we call it. So it was a 100K race in some mountains in Virginia. And I started the race at 6 a.m, started running, felt really good. The day passes by pretty quickly. My goal was to finish. I had 17 hours to finish. 18 hours to finish. And so the day started going. Everything was great. Weather was perfect. It was a really nice day. And we get to the evening and, going up 3 mountains, basically. Each mountain got bigger and taller and more rugged and technical trails. Stacy was way ahead of me. He's a seasoned trail runner. So I've got everything running my watch. I'm getting the nutrition. Everything's going right. All of a sudden, we start hearing some thunder. I'm like, oh, no. I didn't factor in this. It's been a beautiful day. And the sun's starting to go down. It's thundering for a while. I'm like, please don't rain. Please don't rain. Because rain in these mountains creates almost like a stream effect, and you're going to be going uphill with downhill water down this trail. So it starts storming for the last 3 hours of the race. And I'm like, okay, a little adversity. We push through this.
It's okay. I got this.
I'm watching my watch. Well, I got plenty of time. It's 15 hours. I got 3 hours to get to the finish line. Now, I knew I had a dry pair of shoes 10 miles away from the finish line. We have these things called drop bags, where they leave a bag for us that we pack. And I had dry shoes, dry socks. And I said, I'm going to stop there. And the closer I got to it, I said, I don't have time. This is going to be tight. I got to speed up. So I left the comfort of the dry shoes, kept moving forward. And a little more adversity. My battery died on my watch, and my watch is my GPS. It's dark. I have a headlamp on. There's nobody around. Sometimes I'm like, am I going the right way? And so I just kept moving forward, watching. Did not have the clock. I had my cell phone, which was starting to die also, 10% battery. I'm like, if I lose this is like my lifeline. If I get lost, I need this. And so I tried not to check it. So I had 2 more aid stations, and aid stations are where they have snacks and food and drinks for you, and people to kind of root you on. So I got to the last aid station, which was 5 miles from the finish line, and the guy is yelling, "You don't have time. Don't stop. Don't stop." And I'm like, "My watch died. How much time do I have?" He's like, "You have 45 minutes to go 4 miles in the mountains." And he's like, "What do you need?" I said, "I need sugar." So he just poured some ginger ale into my water flasks that I have on my chest, these kind of water bags, and gave me some snacks. He said, "Keep going. You can do it. You can make it." So I just trucked it for the last 4 miles, and I made it at 17 hours and 45 minutes. So I had 15 minutes to spare at the race and crossed the finish line, gave my buddy Stacy a big hug, and it was an incredible experience. So it was almost midnight crossing the finish line. It's just an amazing experience. And, I'm hoping to do another one in the future. I loved it. It was.
I know. I was like, "Johnny, you're not going to do that again." He was like, "No, yeah, I was going to do another one."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
John,
adventure race.
John, who is the guy with 4 miles left that said, "You can do it, you can do it"?
I want to go back and find that guy because I didn't catch his name. He was kind of by himself at this tent, and I was so glad he told me how much time I had, because I think from then on it was just pure adrenaline. I unfortunately did not know my pace, but it felt like I was like on world record pace to get to that finish line.
Yeah. No, John
wanted fast.
Yeah, John's tall, so John's got super long strides.
Yes.
I mean, so runs like a gazelle for sure. So, dude, that is an awesome
It
story.
was a cool experience. It really was. And, the adversity that I've had that last several miles, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the suffering, because I think, like we talked about, it makes you stronger. A little suffering can make us tougher and make us better PTs, better attorneys, better parents, better friends. So that was kind of the gift for that race, was not the medal. I actually got like a piece of wooden, what do you call it, coaster. That was my award, So,
Not even like an Iron Man shirt type
nothing like that. No belt buckle, no victories and shirts. Yeah, I was like, okay,
coaster. Well, you earned it.
that was nice.
Yeah.
But it's really the journey to get there, and I recommend trying something like that. Sign up for something hard. It could be a run, it could be a swim, it could be a bike, it could be anything, but something physical, something challenging. Watch how it kind of carries over into your daily life. And
It could be working at Poulsen Odenlaw firm.
definitely.
It makes me. Is it Romans? Is it Romans 5:1-5? Both my afflictions. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what when that story makes me
Yes.
think of that passage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But thanks for asking about that. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I was like,
Experience.
"John, after you do all that, you ran for 17 hours, right?" I said, "Did you go eat something like immediately?" You all got like a giant pizza, right?
Yeah.
And you ate like the whole
pizza. The next day we ate the whole pizza.
Yeah, the next day.
The hard thing is you're fueling the whole time. So
Yeah.
I took in, my watch says I burned like 8,000 calories, which I don't know how it's humanly possible. But yeah. Next day we ate a whole pizza. And luckily we had a day before we flew back, because I had trouble walking the next day.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Like your sons can never say, "Dad,
I'm tired."
Yeah, exactly. I'm tired. Yeah.
Medication. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely blessed with an amazing family, and my wife and kids are my greatest inspiration and support system. And I've had the pleasure of coaching Danny's son in basketball a couple seasons. Great kid, great athlete, and all I want as a coach is kids to be coachable. Not to be great, but just be coachable. And they're gonna listen and get better. So I haven't had the pleasure of meeting your kids, but we've talked a lot about them. Learned some great stories. But yeah, I hope to definitely meet them soon.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Hey.
But thanks again for having me.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. I've loved this experience.
Yeah, we could talk to you all day, John.
I know.
It's
Gus.
you have
That was great.
you have patience to see, and Liv has phones to answer. Right, Liv?
Yeah.
Clients to help. Huh?
Thank you. You did a great job on your first podcast.
Should we try to do the button that's the clap?
Yeah, let's do a clap button, Liv.
Y'all, it says B. Y'all ready for B?
Try the one below.
Blow it. Yeah.
For our three. There it is.
Is that for the bad guests?
Like our three viewers, Liv was pressing a bunch of buttons there.
That's great. I can't end on that one. Wah, wah.
All right, Liv, give us. I guess you got a train. You got a train over
I
there.
think there was a train earlier. Right?
You got a train.
Oh.
Liv, do you like electronics and that face?
No. Kinda.
All right.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great day.
There we go. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, no.
Awesome.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. We're cheating here.
Thank you to our listeners for being with us on another episode of Stay on Track podcast. Remember, our vision is to help 500 families by 2028. For anyone in need, just reach out and we'll be here.
For everyone listening in, thank you very much. And tell us something good. Please like the show and share our vision statement so others may learn more about what we do and who we help. For Carissa and our amazing guest, John Moran, I'm Danny. Thank you for staying on track with Poulsen Oden Law Firm.
Thank you.